Okay, I want to welcome everybody to today's working session of the Rockland Sewer Commissioners. This meeting is being taped for playback later on WRPS and YouTube. The listings of those matters reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed. Not all items listed in the pack may be discussed, and other items not listed may be brought up to discussion to the extent permitted by law. I'll take a motion to open the meeting.
I make the motion to open the meeting.
I have a second.
Second.
All in favor, Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes.
Mr. Hession's a yes, that is unanimous. Before we get too far into it, I wrote a letter to the property owner of 978 Union Street, who tore down the house without notifying the board. If you remember, he came in and we informed them of what had to be done. Well, he went ahead and removed it. I'd like to show you the letter I sent. I called Bob Galvin, and Bob Galvin was in complete agreement with that. He said we should send the letter, return receipt requested, which I was gonna do anyway. And that way there, we know when the 10 working days will start. What I'm asking him to do is within 10 business days to notify us that he'll be in for hearing to explain what happened. I'm more interested in if he had a drain layer that's on our license who did it without notifying the board, and he knows the regulation. So, if he doesn't, what that letter states is that at the sewer department will go up, we'll cut the service at the, on the town right of way, cap it, and if he sells that property, whoever purchased that property will have to apply for a new sewer license, new sewer connection, and only after we recover the costs for cutting and closing up the.
And the cutting and closing in the town road is if there's no response from this. Okay.
That was that. What was the other thing I just wanted to?
Is there a fine or anything associated with
There's
this?
no fine in our books. It just says we can cap it. I quoted the reg. Those are the pictures I had taken. I sent them along to him in case he forgets that he tore down the house.
Because that really puts the financial burden on the new owner now.
Well, he can't, if he sells it, he's not gonna sell it with sewer. And that's gonna have to go on the deed. So that's
Okay.
approved the minutes of the previous working session. We just got them. If I could have time to read them.
Oh,
for
yeah,
next
that's
week.
for next week, yeah.
Okay.
But for minutes from last week, we had an email from Eric Schumacher.
Eric Schumacher, yeah.
Did you give that to Robin last week? I thought?
Yes, and that's it.
Well, she's just asking where the email is, so she has it somewhere.
Oh, I gave them to her.
Yeah, I thought we did
Yes.
too.
I gave them to her. They were all set. We'll go into, before Robin comes in, let me just bring you up to speed where they are on the I&I removal. They located and think they've sealed off 5,000 gallons to date. They're gonna be starting the lining this week. I've asked for an up to date report Thursday afternoon, so we can report Thursday night just how much has been removed that we know of. I think it'll be in the vicinity of 7,000 or 8,000 gallons.
The 5,000 is just from manhole?
Manhole sealing and some lateral sealing. What I want to do though is bring you up to speed on I&I while we're on the subject. Now, with this work is going to, they estimate it's going to remove 112,000 gallons. Original estimate was 119. So I'm going to round that up and say hopefully that we remove 120,000 gallons of I&I if we're successful. However, with what we have on the books, the project's pending, which my list completely agrees with yours.
List.
If you want to just go over that.
List.
Why don't we do that before we go into the I&I and read them into the record? Pending on our approved waiting list is 320 Concord Street and Manzella Court. They will get first crack at the available capacity. Still on the approved list pending a hearing is Beechwood, who's coming in May, Beechwood Estates. Dwyer Street, I went up today again, and it's a horror show, and I've told the contractor there, and I informed Pat Brennan by voicemail, I spoke to Pat, excuse me, that I wanna be there in person when they're doing the testing, because that line's still a mess, so he's out. I doubt very much he'll be in tomorrow, Thursday night. The other one that's approved and pending is 365 Concord Street. Projects we've approved that are not subject to the moratorium because of their flow is 343 Weymouth Street, 48 Carey Street, 60 Green Street, 506 Beach Street, and 411 Pond Street. Now, with that said, we have others out there. Now, with that said, what I want to mention is that the goal we're hoping with this INI is to remove 120,000 gallons a day. With the projects that we have already approved and what we have in the waiting list, with the 11:1 ratio applied, we have 28,365 gallons a day pending. That means we have 312,000 gallons we have to remove. That's a lot times 11. Now, if we move that 120,000 from the 312,000 that we have, we're still 192,000 gallons short. Did I go too fast for that?
Yeah.
The get flow that we have approved and on our waiting list that we have not seen yet
Oh. Mm-hmm.
equates to 28,365 gallons total, without the 11:1.
That's these two? So that's why I'm looking to just tie back.
I added all these up.
Oh, okay, the flow,
Okay.
not
Flow.
the I-9. All right,
Flow.
sorry.
The flow equates to 28,365 gallons of actual flow we have not seen yet.
Okay,
Now, if you multiply that 11, that comes to 312,000 gallons that by the EPA order, we have to remove.
yeah,
Now, if we are successful and remove 120,000 gallons with this I&I work, that's gonna leave us 192,000 gallons remaining that we have to remove. Now, the EPA's already notified us that we have a fine coming for the previous administration order. We're also currently at a 74% rate of non-compliance for flow. There is just no way we can justify new connections when we're 192 gallons short of our I&I requirement. They would eat us up. So I spoke to Weston Sampson Monday and Veolia. The year one I&I is not gonna physically locate I&I sources. They're gonna locate areas in town that have significant I&I. All right, and that will give us a direction to go after those sources. Now, we also do not have the money until next fiscal year to go after some, so what we'll do is we'll use what we can. Now, I also had a conversation with, on Monday with Weston Sampson, Wright Pierce, Veolia, and they, in that $2.5 million that we, for the sewer grant upgrade, sewer upgrade, is gonna help us with the funding. Now, in January, Jessica from Wright Pierce sent us a list of potential funding sources
yes.
that would be specific to Rockland's needs.
Mm-hmm.
And then what she informed me of, that the state still has 1.7 billion in ARPA funds that are available.
Mm-hmm.
So the initial 2.5 million request includes Veolia Wright Pierce to coordinate, investigate, and prepare all funding requirements for both the facility upgrade and our I&I work.
Mm-hmm.
Jess has already reached out to Dave DeCoste's office and Senator Keenan, and is going to arrange for a joint meeting with them in May.
Excellent, excellent.
All right. She also has been speaking to somebody in Elizabeth Warren's office on our behalf, and we have to meet with Elizabeth Warren and I forget the guy's first name, Auchincloss, and that will take place in September. Hopefully in September, and that'll be federal funds to help push us through. They're gonna give us all the help we need to pursue that funding, so that'll get us on state and federal level. What they said is, we as a board are gonna start working on community groups to get support in writing. And one of the good ones that'll focus on, especially for the RDI, is that North River watershed. So I'm gonna reach out to Samantha on my own. We could also get business groups. I don't think it's called Better Business. What is that? South Shore
Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
South Shore Chamber of Commerce is good to reach out to, so I'll be reaching out to them. Now, it's important that if we're going to do this, that it's coordinated through Sherry, that we're not duplicating efforts and we screw people up at this point. Once we get through the meeting in May, you and Jess are just gonna, I told her full contact is with you,
Okay,
unless you call for a board meeting.
right, okay.
So that's where that stands. So that said, that's all I have to say on that, but my biggest fear is that people are probably gonna think that, okay, we've got 120,000 gallons of I&I out. Our flow today is still 2.7 gallons, 2.68 million gallons a day. 12-month rolling average is 2.7 million gallons a day, which everyone knows that if you look at it month by month, it's just gonna go up and down, and it's not a real true measurement of where you are. Even though April 1st, our measurement is gonna be our monthly average, whether we're in compliance or not. To judge what we have for a capacity, we have to look at that 12-month rolling average. But we're in a bad situation that we can't let that blindside us.
Now, I used to look at 6 months.
Huh?
At one point, we were looking at a 6 month.
Yeah, that's what I think we gotta look at. I think and that's why I wanna lead into this moratorium. No matter what we do, unfortunately, I try to write a memo on it, because we have to let the planning board know where we are. I mean, it's only fair to them.
Oh, yeah.
And we can't really say a plan because we don't have one yet. I think it's realistic to say that, I was thinking we might be able to say, okay, nothing more than 25 bedrooms a year, but we don't even have that capacity. That'd be 2,700 gallons a day. That'd be, what, 270,000 gallons we have to remove more. I think until we get this fine in place to find out exactly where they're coming from, and I would think until the November submittal, but then we'll have the CWMP in place. We'll know where we stand with the upgrade and the phosphorus. Then I think we could approach them and say, look, we need some leeway on some revenue. Can you, we're gonna violate that 1101. We're gonna try to let people in so we generate revenue. But I don't see doing it before that. I think we're asking for trouble.
Yeah, I noticed that 2,750 gallons, and we would absolutely have to have the EPA's buy-in.
Yeah.
And at this point, I don't think we're ready to ask.
No, I mean, you look at the numbers where we are, we have a 74% failure rate, monthly failure rate.
And
Do better,
the
do better.
letter we got too told us we shouldn't even put anybody on that.
Right.
Right, by rights we shouldn't, but the other thing too, Dan, is
Yeah,
we have the stranglehold on revenue.
Yes.
The town needs to grow, but unfortunately what they did is they put the cart before the horse and grew before we had a sewer baseline. And now we can't establish a baseline, we're so far over. I really don't think it's wise pushing the EPA at this point till we get everything in order, show them that we're meaning business, But I think what we're stuck with is, I think, for a minimum of a year, the only ones we could let in now, and even pushing the waiting list, to clear the waiting list, I really don't even see, after this meeting, accepting any applicants. I think it's
Over the 440?
over the 440, I can't see it. I mean, we have Beechwood Estates coming in May, they're approved. We have 320 Concord Street technically approved, each can get a year extension. We have 320 Concord and we have Manzella. I think we should just, as soon as we get anything, clear them. So we have 0 on the waiting list, 0 pending, and I think until we have some kind of a working base, just notify planning, we will not be accepting any hearings for new connection for at least a year.
That
As it
makes
stands
sense.
right now.
I mean, why muddy it up? Because we don't really have a path
No place
We
to.
to
don't.
move any of these people once we put them on the list.
And I
So-
think right now, it's just moot playing with that moratorium until we figure out where the hell we are. You have any input on that, or what do you think?
Same thing they're saying, because actually I read the paperwork the other day, and it says, it doesn't look good at all for a while. Like you say, we might have to think about putting a second system in someplace. Can't go through French's Drain.
Right.
No, we can't, we're light years away from the system, we gotta concentrate on just getting that phosphorus system in.
I
But
mean,
if you look, to me, there's also a problem out there, there has to be a major contributor out there somewhere. We haven't had any significant rain in a month, yet we're still at 2.7 million gallons a day.
Yeah, I saw that, and I also saw today on the news that, you know, we've only gotten a half inch of rain all month.
So what that, Rick and I have been talking, what that's telling us, there's a major source out there, and
Yeah.
and people are thinking I'm being negative, I'm not. My gut feeling is telling me it's that new school, that's the only thing that's gone in. And it had to have disrupted the water table, and it's pushing
Well-
that water somewhere.
It's a good place to start looking.
I think we
Sure.
have to start looking there.
We do need to locate this. Now, are the holding tanks full, empty, what is,
Right now, they're full for the regular processes, where we don't
Okay.
have any additional, we have additional capacity if we get a heavy
heavy
rain.
rain? That's
We
my
have those 2
concern.
empty tanks.
Okay, that's my question.
and
But right now, we're still pulling in like I said,
Yeah,
2.6 million
makes sense.
gallons.
I do, we have to repair those big tanks out back.
If they get down, I don't know what we're gonna do.
I mean, they had to go down and be repaired.
But I think what this has done, I think it's just, I hate to table the moratorium, I think we've gotta keep it, fresh in our minds. But until we can have available capacity to give, I think what we do is amend my letter to the planning board and say until further notice, at least probably for at least a year, we're not gonna be accepting any applicants for new connection. I mean, as I said, they have to understand that, just with what we're holding, what we've approved, we're still gonna be 192,000 gallons short of our requirement. And I'd rather go after that 192,000 on bended knees with the EPA come the end of the year, once we get all our reports in, and we can show some progress to the phosphorus. But the downside is when I spoke to Frank, and he said that all that's gonna do is pinpoint areas around town.
Yeah.
It's not gonna pinpoint, so
So-
we could pinpoint an area, but then we're still gonna have to go pay to have work, which
The
is gonna be.
resolution is put off another year.
Yeah, because what we're gonna do with that, think of this, that until we get some grant money in, the money that we budgeted for fiscal year '24, we can't do that to repairs, we're gonna take that money, when he isolates an area, use that money to find out exactly where that's gonna go, so. That looks like that's gonna be it, but in the meantime, I said, Ray Pierce and Jessica are gonna help us with state and federal funding on the, for,
And that could,
I work.
that could give us a leg up on this whole thing.
Yeah. Well, right now, as it stands,
If we can-
we need $4 million.
If we can,
Yes.
if we can find the 4 million,
Yeah, we need $4
that
million
brings us up
to
to
just
date,
get
then we can get
Jesse into an operating position.
back to business.
But that's what that is.
So when did you wanna send this letter?
That letter
Planning
to,
board.
just to Corbett, I will tell you what, I will let me rewrite it.
Yeah,
Um,
cause you've got,
and, I'll send a draft out to you for approval for our Thursday night meeting.
We only meet this Thursday.
Thursday night, 7:00.
Thursday night.
There's nothing
is
left.
the-
Yes, now what you got to do is read up on 365 Concord Street is coming in to give us their plan. And the developers of Park and Howard Street are coming in to give us their plan, what they wanna do for that.
Are either of these looking for the approval?
No, 365 is going to be telling us where he is. If he wants a 1-year extension, we are obligated to give him a 1 year, but he's subject to the new fees.
So my question on that is, we need new plans. Do
We
get
need new plans for 365, cause
Yeah,
I don't
Because I
think
know-
we have them.
I haven't seen anything come through.
No.
And then the 1-year extension would be dependent on him starting construction within
Correct.
the year.
Now, that's
If he
only a
says
1 year
I'm-
extension.
If he says I'm not gonna start building for another 2.5 years,
His permit is over.
then
He's gonna have to go through the whole process of applying again.
You know, now that's 365 what?
365 Concord Street. I believe that's under new ownership now. But anyway, let's, you know.
okay, that's fine,
and
I just
mean,
wanna
it's-
clarify the rules.
Right, just so everyone knows where we're standing, we cannot keep permits open
No,
for in perpetuity.
I agree with you.
no, they get a
You
year
got
to
one that's
start.
been open for 10 years. You
Yeah,
find out
no,
about that one?
that's
They're due
Beach
to-
Street.
They're supposed to come in on,
They're coming
oh,
in May.
next month,
Right, they're coming in May.
okay,
Um,
next month. Then, the other question I have about the letter is, you've got the 2750 gallons in there, 2,000.
Well, I'm not gonna eliminate that, yeah,
Yeah,
I've got to
because we
eliminate that,
can't-
any reference to flows or anything, just, what I'm gonna do is explain where we are now with what we have pending, and what that
Yeah.
means, and this is why it doesn't look good for a year. Anything 440 or less we'll handle, anything more than 440, we're not even gonna schedule for a hearing.
No. I would agree with that.
That means nothing more than a 4-bedroom home.
What's
For
going on-
applicant.
What's going on Church Street? You ever heard anything about that
Nothing.
yet?
Haven't heard a blessed thing. Now, you look at the Church Street development,
I'm thinking of it, yeah.
it's when
I
they do
haven't heard
it.
anything.
They're, Park and Howard, no, they're coming in, Church Street. No, Park and Howard, that's when they're coming in. They're coming in Thursday night, but
Yeah.
that's just to explain what he'd like to do. We're just gonna, it's great, but we don't have the capacity.
Okay.
And we're not gonna take a hearing until we get rid of everything else. That's just my
I
opinion.
mean,
I don't
no,
wanna
I
say
think,
no.
no, it makes sense, because we're not at the end game yet, we don't have an end in sight. So what's the point in putting all these people on a list and say, well, we don't know when anything's gonna happen? Except that when we do clear everything, it's gonna be a mad scramble.
Well, it's gonna be a mad scramble, but
So
it's,
we'll have
you
to
know what it
manage
will
that.
do, but think of the positive side of it, it'll make sure people have their plans in place and they're gonna come, because we're not gonna prove them if we have to send them back, and if somebody comes in ready to rock and roll,
Comes in
they
after
got it.
that, yeah, first come.
I mean, if we get one big hitter, that could do it for a year too.
Yeah, well, Park and Howard, 30,000 gallons. I would suggest this letter also go to the water department, the building department, and the board of selectmen. It's just the
That's-
whole town,
Yeah.
let everybody know.
Okay, because that's good, I didn't think let's go building,
Building department, the water,
select,
yeah, selectmen, and the water department.
water.
I couldn't think of anybody else.
I had planning, zoning,
Planning and zoning,
highway, that doesn't really,
no, it doesn't really affect that. Those are the biggies.
Okay, no, done.
All right,
It's unfortunate,
So-
but I mean, that's reality.
draft for Thursday. And then the 2021 moratorium just stands as is.
Are we having a Zoom meeting? or-
Zoom meeting Thursday night.
It's-
While we're on the subject of meetings, let's talk about that amongst ourselves now. I'm gonna ask if there's any comment Thursday night, if people want. No, but you know what, let's put it this way, I'm gonna selfishly say, we've been breaking our butt, so I think it should be our call when we wanna meet.
Well, the water department meets in the afternoon, so.
Yeah,
it
I
doesn't
mean,
seem
if
to be a
we
problem.
have a special meeting like a presentation, I'd do it at 7:00.
Yeah, if we have to make accommodations for somebody, I don't have any
Yeah.
objections, but
I don't
You
know.
the,
What's
Our
your feeling? Would you
usual-
rather prefer meeting at, say, 3:30 to 4:30?
yeah,
I don't,
yeah, that's,
you buy lunch?
Absolutely.
Good chairman.
Absolutely will. Well, I'm only chairman to July.
You've been
I
reelected.
know, we're gonna take another vote,
You're reelected.
pretty
So-
much, yeah.
So,
You're not even, you leave, you're reelected.
Gee, can we do that motion now? Do we have to wait?
well, there was something else I wanted to bring up on that. Okay, so I think we've hit, okay, no, municipal development fees. Let's discuss that briefly. I think the two items we should put on the agenda for the water would be the municipal fees and going after sump pumps.
Yeah,
So that should be our two items. What do you guys, have you given any more thought into what you feel about charging the town for user rates?
I would do a little study and see what other towns do too.
mhm.
And, I mean, if this is ridiculous, water is coming from their system, their pipes, they're gonna pay.
Well, remember, they're no different than a homeowner. They own up to the lateral connection to the service line. So if it's in the pipes coming out of there, that's ours. But if they're pushing all that water out of there, see, they have to help out somehow. It can't be dumped all on us. We have to get some kind of commitment from the town every year for I&I until we get this beast tackled. We have to. It's either charge them the user rates or charge them a flat sum.
I agree with Dan, I'd like to see what the other towns are doing. I mean, I think we should at least try to keep in line, see how that impacts
Well,
this
I
plan.
mean, the surrounding towns like
Right,
that, like
right.
Weymouth,
Right,
Quincy, Braintree.
you know, we could start charging them just the user fees. That in turn becomes income. And then we budget our line items to put it towards I&I. In our budget, that's how that flows
I
down,
mean, the new school's built on a pond down there.
yeah.
All right, I'll take that on. I'll start looking around to whether the websites and all that. And I'm gonna make calls. I wanna talk to them directly on that.
I see,
Just, and I would say, you know, just
I think Braintree,
something comparable to us, like,
Braintree, Weymouth, and are all on NWRA.
okay,
Right. I
So-
wouldn't look at NWR.
no. Like
Marshfield.
Situate, Marshfield, they've got, yeah,
Yeah.
Marshfield.
Even other communities in the state, if I could
Situate.
find it, because
You bet.
I don't,
Good idea.
if not, we should just put it to the Board of Selectmen, like, how are you gonna help us out? Because this is strangling you as well.
Well, this is the plan, is to charge the municipal fees, we're open to suggestions. And if they come back and say, well, why don't we give you X number of dollars, or whatever plan they come up with, if this is not, you know, if this is a problem for them.
Or we may not be able to charge them, but we can see what the usage.
No, but
I don't wanna-
if they
I
have
don't-
free cash, they can give us a percentage of that, or.
But that's up to them, and I'm not gonna.
No,
ask-
I'm just about saying, speaking out of mind, it's the only time we get to
Yeah.
talk. mean,
I favor the approach of saying, you know, this is our plan, we're gonna charge you whatever for fees. We're open to suggestions, and then see what they come up with.
You have a did they have a new, the selectmen, new selectmen, you have a meeting with them yet?
No, I think
that's
his first meeting's tonight.
Yeah, that's
Oh, really?
tonight.
Matter of fact, that may be interesting to watch it for a number of reasons.
And that's always recorded, so you can watch it tonight.
Yeah, I wanna watch it, but, no,
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
I'm gonna set up that meeting, with the water in May. I think we'll host the first one down here, because it'll
Okay.
give us more than room. I'll
Yeah.
reach out to Crystal today, or probably tomorrow, and say I'd like to, once we meet, why don't we put these two items on our first agenda? Hopefully we have some kind of a game plan.
Now, does do they have an aquifers too?
I don't know, but what they're trying to do is they have, what we have with the problem with some pumps, they have on irrigation systems, because they have a water shortage. But there's also nothing in the books for them to find Rockland users for irrigation systems, which I think they're changing. I think that, matter of fact, I think that's one of the articles they put up,
Okay.
that they're gonna start, if we're caught with irrigation, but they're willing to
that's-
help pay to remove irrigation systems, and maybe we could do something with some pumps. I know I've looked at, for example, Middleborough, they gave an amnesty of 1 year that you have to come in and register your sump pump, have to have it inspected, that it's proper, and you've one-time $25 fee for that registration.
Yeah.
If you're caught afterwards discharging, they snap you with a good fine.
I discharge
Yeah,
out the back of my house.
Yeah, that's fine,
and that's what you're supposed to do.
that's what you're supposed to do. But if you're discharging into sanitary sewer, well, you're not supposed to be doing that. So I think that may be a good place to start. But let's hear where they go, and we'll look at other sumps.
And we know Hingham has a program.
Yeah. Let's talk to the superintendent for a while.
Okay.
Wait with it. We saw we have a candidate.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to him, just to get a feel for his experience. How do you feel about scheduling? He works during the day,
Okay.
so I think if we interview, he comes out of Boston. He lives in Rockland. I think it would have to be for him to be at 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Okay.
So I'll have Stacy.
So does that have to go down through WRPS, or can we just do it here?
I think we could do it here if we tape it.
Okay.
I think we do it right here if we tape it.
I just, for
I'll double-
scheduling
you know what, I'll
purposes,
double
that's
check
gonna
with
be
Stacy.
easier. And, maybe some new or different interview questions, can we do that?
Yeah, we can come up with whatever we want.
Enough time
I mean,
has
I
passed.
think this is a different kind of resume,
I
pretty
agree.
experience, so I think we
Agreed.
gotta look at the
Agreed.
questions, and I think what this should be is an introductory type.
Yeah,
Still go with the same thing that, it's only one candidate that we're gonna ask the same questions. So,
Basically, he's gonna be in charge of everything going out.
well, that's what we gotta talk to about. I wanna get a feeling of what his capabilities are. Looking at the resume, I'm thinking, you know what? He may be a good candidate for Rick. Now, here's an option, I'm talking out loud. Do we wanna bring him in, or someone like him, to say, work for Rick for 6 months, to learn the system? Because I think from looking at that, he's got a good handle on infrastructure, but how we operate and how the system operates, and we could have to subsidize Violi to do that salary-wise, and then we take him on as a superintendent. I mean, these are the things we have to play around with, but I think the best thing we should do is come in, talk to him,
let's talk to
see
him.
what we're dealing
See
with.
what we wanna
So I'm
do.
gonna have Stacy reach out to him and see if he could, today is April 18th. Okay, that gives us one more week. Why don't we say, can he give us a date the first week in May? And have her find out an appropriate time for him. And we'll leave it wide open, say 7 o'clock would be the latest we'd want to meet. And we'll spend an hour with him, and it's just to get to know him and talk to him. Agreed?
as an interview.
As an interview, just
Yeah.
to get a feel for his resume.
Yep. And I think we all have a list of all the different tasks that we think are gonna end up in this job. So we need to think what's most important right now. What qualities are we looking for? Because we're not gonna get somebody who's gonna fill the list 100%.
No, we're not at this
Not.
point in the game.
But if they have the right qualities and characteristics that we feel,
Right, I
We
think
can
with
train
this,
them.
this gentleman's, and it's all, this is a gut feeling from looking at it, that I think there'd be significant training involved. And we'll do it, just to be absolutely open with both of you, right here, excuse me, Weston Sampson. Is still putting together what it would cost us a year, and I wanna look at that as well,
yeah,
before we make
Yeah.
a decision.
yeah.
You see what licenses the kid has, the whole.
Right.
Yeah, that's how we do it, but you
And
know what I
we
wanna
never
do?
asked- we never asked anybody about licenses before.
No, we haven't.
No, we didn't.
No.
But I think, if, you know,
What
in this
do we
case,
need?
but that's what I'm thinking, if he came in like with the Rick, that would give him the background to get the license.
And maybe we hire them and pay Veolia to do the initial training.
Right.
Because then there's no confusion over who he really reports to.
Yeah, no, these are all things I wanna iron out,
Yep,
and I wanna bring Stacy into the loop, so I think what
Yeah.
we'll do is, why don't we do this, we'll have Stacy reach out to him for an interview and see if Stacy can attend our next working session for 5 or 10 minutes, just to.
okay, that sounds good,
So we're
yeah,
good.
yep. Just kind of give us a tune-up on interviewing.
No, because I think this is a different kind of interview, so, make sure we're not violating anything.
Right.
We used to say guys want to interview for mechanics.
So we take care of the future
No
meetings
matter
and
where they
so
are.
on. So what we'll say Thursday,
With the service and here and there, now it's even worse. People come in entry level as a mechanic,
Yeah,
like Ray Edison, they last 6 months, and they jump on the other side. There's more money on the other side of the house.
well, see, that's the problem we're gonna
Doing
run
what?
into.
What do you mean?
Anybody, if we train someone,
Yeah.
and another job comes up, they may pop. You know, but that's
Well-
the risk we're running right now.
yeah, and there's
And I think it's a
nothing we
risk.
can do about it.
No, I think it's a risk we have to
I
take.
mean,
Yeah.
all the big companies are having the same problem.
Right.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
this'll
they
give
built out
us,
the jobs in the company.
right, but this'll also give us time us to show him what we've been doing and bring him up to speed, like what I've been doing, Sherry's been, you've been doing, so he gets the feel for it, we got time. Let's jump into accounting before we bring Robin in.
How much money do we have? We don't have.
We have enough to buy damn lunch.
McDonald's. Yeah, I looked at the accounting, I don't think it's really 100% up to date, mine is not, because I've been working on the other stuff, so. What I'd like to do is get maybe a report from the town accountant, have that for Thursday.
Okay. What do you need for prep time for town meeting? What do we have to do for town meeting with the articles?
Well, what I thought I could do is kind of a dry run Thursday night and explain what the articles are.
Yeah.
Um,
And then we could always get together and dry run amongst ourselves
right,
who wants to present them,
right.
because they have to be read into the record.
Yeah, they do. Now, usually the moderator does that.
Does he, do they do all?
Yeah,
Okay.
usually they do. But if there are questions, then we would have to be prepared to speak. And I think some of the articles are a little convoluted, which is
Some
where
of them are pretty
I'd like-
basic, I mean.
They're very basic, but a couple of them where we're combining funds.
Right.
You know, I'll be happy to stand up and explain that. But when it starts to get into the technical engineering part of it, that's where you.
I'll take over that.
Yeah,
I don't think I'll be able to say anything.
yeah.
This could become a white elephant, so I have to take it care of right away.
Yeah, that's a great statement right there. So, yeah, it's hard for me to anticipate.
Okay.
Really.
So with that, I guess we'll bring Robin in, and this is gonna be a quick meeting.
Good. Great. Yeah. Oh, I do have something to say about accounting.
Sure.
The SSES account.
That's a CS account.
We had a separate account article set to fund the SSES study. And there is $4,000 left in that account, which will expire in July. So I just want to double check that we don't have any other expenses from the SES.
SES is closed. We
All
have
right.
nothing on the SES.
Okay, so those funds will go.
So you
into-
could allocate that to any way you want.
Well,
Right.
no, they're gone.
I just wanna check with one of the selectmen to make sure we do it right.
Yeah, no, they're gone at the end, at the end of June. July 1st, that article expires.
No,
But we don't lose that, right?
Yeah, we do.
All right,
Because
can
it's
we
a
change-
special article.
Can we allocate that over to another?
Well, that's what all the articles are that are going to town meeting,
Okay.
is the movement of
Any
funds.
more I got, I.
That's what I'm saying, anything we throw an eye on eye.
Let me check with Doug.
You must be his best friend.
He loves my questions. Let me check with Doug. If that can be moved into the I don't know if there's anything we can do at this point. But
I
I'll
just,
check.
wait, $4,000 is $4,000.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right, let me grab that.
all right, I'll find out about that.
Robin, you wanna come in, or? You have anything for us, or?
I thought that brick was getting smaller.
No. It's freezing in here. I think they switched over to the AC last week when it was hot. Are these mine?
I'm dying in there, I'm
Yeah.
sweating.
Oh, yeah.
All right. The letter from Steve O'Callahan, to Steve O'Callahan at
Right.
978 Union. Are we going with that?
Yes, I talked to Bob Galvin. Bob Galvin has said that no need to change anything, it's fine. Just make sure we send it out, return receipt requested.
Okay, the letter's over there. Did you see it and sign it? That can't be it because it was on letterhead.
Then you have it.
No, I
They
left
put
it.
it in that
It
file?
might be in there.
Oh. Let's keep squabbling mouths right here.
There it is.
All right, and it's all signed?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Thank you. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, that I gave out a permit application to Target. They want to renew. There was no, they're not a discharge company. It's a restaurant permit. So everything is fine with that. I sent it to them.
Who's Target?
The Target store over in Abington, they're on Rockland Sewer. They're part of the group of companies and residents that are on Rockland Sewer. And they have a restaurant in there. I think it's a Starbucks.
Did they have a Pizza Hut there too?
Not now, I know that.
No.
Dynavac, I
Uh,
guess they're going through
yep.
the end of June. They have until
Right,
complete it?
I sent, I think her name is Suzanne, an email. I got a response from her that they have not forgotten, and I got a response back from, I guess, one of the vice presidents that they are gonna plan on taking care of it in June.
Okay, perfect.
And they'll give us 2 weeks' notice.
All right. 252 Beach Street, I think I already covered that and gave you an update.
Yep.
All right. The Center Ave manholes, did you get the information on District 5?
I sent Dave the email, matter of fact, I sent that to him this morning. I
Okay.
CC'd the sewer department on that.
All right, so also today, I don't know if you already mentioned to everyone, but there was
No, I didn't.
there's a sinkhole near 11 Linwood Street. Water's already been out, it's not water, we have a sewer main line there. So,
What street?
Linwood.
Linwood. I spoke to Chuck about it this morning, and he was gonna contact Michael Holdley.
I did contact Michael Hoadley. Mike said they'll get a crew out there to camera, take a look at it, and he'll notify me as to when. I'm not sure if that was Hoadley and Sons, plural, or Hoadley and Son.
I put it and Sons, and it didn't kick back, so I'm sure
Okay.
he has it. He
So-
didn't have it, he probably called
Yeah.
me back, I emailed him over the street map,
Yeah, that was for the street
so
path.
he would know where the manholes are in that area.
Nice truck.
All right, so that's, when's he gonna go over there, did you say?
He was gonna call me back,
All right.
let me know when he could get to it. It'd be no later than, tomorrow, he said that.
All right, so 180 Pleasant Street, a request came into the,
Excuse me. Okay.
Details first. Come back in a month.
Yeah, I passed them, where were they? Hingham Street, I think.
When?
Hingham Street, they were working.
When today? I didn't go down Hingham Street. I didn't go up there. I had to put a new, what do you call it, on the computer? New tower.
Yeah,
I forget what you call them. I called New Jersey and I wanted one from Verizon.
oh my gosh, I should have answered the door.
I ordered it, right? It's supposed to come tomorrow.
yeah.
The technician's at my house today to put it in. New router, he's coming to,
Yeah.
this morning, put it in.
Oh,
He wired up, he's
Oh,
got
great.
it an hour.
great.
So they put the little thing here, it's good for 2,000 feet.
Found one good one.
Great.
I was just saying, I should have answered the door, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so 180 Pleasant Street, they sent a request into the clerk's office on April 10th for information, a public records request. It got forwarded to us today, April 18th, which normally wouldn't be an issue, but except the information that they're asking for is a lot. 180 Pleasant Street is the location of Polymer Corporation. They have a IPP permit. So, and they're doing a study of the ground there as well. So what they're asking for is.
Are they going to 21E?
I don't know what a 21E is.
Betcha they are.
They're looking for all records of underground storage tanks, above ground storage
That's a
tanks.
21E.
Hazardous or flammable material storage permits, releases of oil or hazardous materials at or near the property. I don't have any of that, but as far as environmental permits, NIPDs, et cetera, and reports, environmental and general violations, and I might have those, but I have to converse with Rick about it because they do have the permit.
Is there anything I can do to help you with that? Pulling that one?
Not
Okay.
really, because I just wanted to have Rick look at it, make sure there's nothing wrong with any of
That
the
sounds like
reports
they're
they've
gonna
given us. I think so.
Where's Pleasant Street?
And then there was possible use of PFAS at or near the site, so they're looking for the original sewer connection date, septic system records, which I wouldn't have, or private water well records I would have, so I didn't have enough time to respond to that in the limited time left. So I asked for an extension of time through the clerk's office to reach out to them, because I don't wanna give them anything until Rick can look at it
Make
with
sure
me.
it's right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right,
Colin, okay. No, no.
yep. All right, 435 Hingham Street. Oh, I think we spoke about that. Oh, David Taylor actually went out there. That's the Ben Man Brook behind the property. And this started, we've been going back and forth since February on this. But anyway, David went out there. It needs to clean out the head walls at the condo complex. It's like a bridge.
Cullivan, yeah.
Yeah, the condo association's gonna try and clean that. If they can't, then we're gonna do it through drainage, but because, David's gonna use highway personnel, there shouldn't be a fee for that.
That's the Colony Condos across from Hingham South, excuse me.
This is just a reminder to add to Rick's agenda items, the NL North America, the money that we get, the 10,000 approximate each year.
Yep, I talked to Rick on that.
He's out this week, so.
Yeah, I just found that out, yeah.
All right.
But I talked to him last week on that.
Oh, this is nothing to do with that, Dyer Street. I think I am all caught up with this. Oh, except, the generator?
Generator, yes.
Yeah.
I had an update on that. I spoke with them Monday. They're finishing up all the contract work on that. It's going to go to, Doug to be posted on Combis. He should be seeing that Monday. Or no, excuse me, he should be seeing that Friday. They're gonna send him stuff today.
So they're gonna forward it to Doug.
Right, they're gonna forward it to Doug. I said to CC, I asked them to please CC, Rockland Sewer Department on all correspondence, we know where it is.
Okay, I missed the beginning. You said you spoke to who about that?
I spoke to,
Is it,
John Ayotte and Frank Occhipinti from Weston Sampson, and Jay Higgins from Hallam.
yikes.
Oh, excuse me, no, not Hallam, no. John, that was another conversation, just John Ayotte and Frank.
All right, so you spoke to John Ayotte from Veolia, Frank from Weston and Sampson.
Sampson, right.
They're finishing up the contract work and they're gonna forward it to Doug Lapp.
Right,
And they're
for
gonna
posting.
CC sewer.
Right,
Oh, then Doug can post it. Thank you. I think that's it. The manholes at the Jefferson schools, that's done. The wait list, you guys were talking about that today, so I'm sure you'll just give me a copy when you're ready.
It's right there in your pile,
Perfect.
and you should have it electronically.
So it's good
Are
to go?
you asking to repost this on our website? The wait list?
Yeah, is it
Is that
ready
what
to
you
be
mean?
posted?
So the question is, previously we had not put down fees,
Hmm,
so I can resend that without the fees.
okay,
That's what you
I'd
want.
resend it without the fees.
Okay,
all right.
That fees that are not public business,
Right.
that's just for the individuals.
okay,
Now you go on our site, get the fees.
yeah,
That's our business.
yeah. Okay, I will resend that as soon as I get home.
All right, perfect. That's,
Hmm.
and then what is this one?
You're not leaving now, are you? You have more?
Chuck gave to you at last week's meeting.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know where that's at.
I could resend that again, give that to you again. Whose email was that?
Shoemaker.
Shoemaker, Eric Shoemaker's.
All I do is print it out and put it in with the
Yeah.
minutes.
No, I get it. Admin assistant,
Right, so.
posted
nothing-
internally.
Posting internally, nothing happening until the 17th. I haven't heard of any applicants. Have you heard anything?
No.
17th of April.
I probably wouldn't anyway, and I don't think too many internal applicants post for the,
Mhm.
part-time ones.
Mhm.
So
Well, once
after
we
the
hit the
17th,
17th, we can.
we can
draw
look
from
at
the
water.
Yes, that is correct.
okay.
On the 17th?
Do you have copies of
Is
that
it
yet?
today the 18th?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is, you're right.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Do you have copies of the
So-
water?
Let me contact Stacy and get those.
Yeah, and tell her that Crystal mentioned it. And she said she'd be glad to give us the stack of, that she had.
Okay.
That she had 80 somewhat.
Wow. Was that a permanent job or a part-time job?
Part-time.
It was
And that's what
permanent
theirs was too,
part-time.
but
How many hours was theirs? Was theirs 19?
19.
Because it used to be 25.
Yeah, no, it was 19. I remember that. And we were gonna
Ours
change
was-
something on
Ours was
ours.
to change it between 14 to 19.
Yeah.
I talked to Stacy.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh.
start at 14 and ramp up to 19.
So if you two could get together with those and start screening out who you wanna talk to.
Yeah. Keeping in mind, this person doesn't start until July 1st.
Right.
All right. That was it for me.
I'll take a motion in the meeting.
Motion.
No, wait.
Well,
So-
motion was over, that second.
Our rate study had suggested that we increase the rates in July. And I'd like to think about putting something in place to notify the residents before we actually send out those bills.
I think it'd be nice.
We missed the
Yeah.
first
We
people.
did miss the first because it was so quickly done. I don't know if we just wanna put printing on the bill, or have we ever done, I don't know if there's
We-
a, how much
What'd be
the
the
cost would
easiest-
be
well, what
for a
would be
buck
the
slip,
easiest for you?
or
We usually print it on the bill.
just print it on the bill? Okay, I think we should.
Well, we don't, Wanda does,
Well-
we just send in the new bill.
I know, and I think we could
Actually-
maybe,
Well, you know what, we wanna mention that again then at Thursday night, try to make a note to mention that Thursday night.
mhm. April.
So,
So if we can get it out from May, what's the timing on that?
well, we're probably gonna bill this week or next week. We haven't picked a day yet, so it'll be for the May 30th due date.
So,
So the
oh,
people with May
so we
and
need to get
June.
this going, yeah.
Mhm.
So is that enough time to do that? I mean,
Well,
I don't know what the process is.
but you haven't even voted on the increase yet.
No, that's true.
You have to vote on the increase before I can put it on the bill. I think the suggested
Mm.
increase was 10%, correct?
Right, 741.
Seven, yeah.
So why don't we vote on that? Oh, we
No,
can't change
seven-
it.
I'm sorry.
741.
741 is what you already have.
Okay, so
Seven
put
point
10%.
225%, I thought.
Okay, let me double check that on the
Let's
thing.
check
We'll
that.
do that at the next working session
That
on
was 10,
Tuesday.
10 and 10 and.
It was 10. The next one was
It's
10.
10%.
All right, I looked at a seven.
But you're gonna have to modify the agenda for Thursday evening if you're gonna put it on
Yeah,
there.
we don't have time to do it for
No, we
Thursday.
don't have time to do it for Thursday
I have
night.
to do it for next week.
We'll do it for
No,
next
no,
week.
no. We already posted the agenda. You have time to edit the agenda and add something that comes
Oh,
up at the
okay, then we'll
last
do
minute.
it.
In 48 hours?
Yeah, you
Okay.
just need to send me the edit in the email. Cause it was kind of
I'll
an
do it.
unexpected thing that came up.
Right.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah,
Do
the
we have it
timing is
Thursday night?
faster than I thought.
I wanna double check about the rate, and it is gonna be
On the
10%.
Well, that was the suggestion. You can,
Yeah, we'll do it.
I'll do it then, yeah.
We can discuss it.
cause we just went up a lot.
25%.
Yeah, yeah. Yikes. All right.
All
We
right,
had them.
all right. Are we all right?
They've been taking over the place.
I'll take a motion
I make a motion,
to what?
the end.
The meeting, okay.
the end-
Have a motion
And I
or a second.
second it.
All in favor, Mrs. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes.
And Chucky's a yes.